Hey hon, I'm Chloe and this is the Ball or Drama Queen tutorial. My mission here is to share my passion for pole dancing and make pole dancing easy to learn and accessible. This is the 37th video of the beginner pole trick tutorial series. In order to maximize your training out of all the videos, I highly recommend you to start from the very first video of this playlist, as the tricks will be a progression of the video before. No explanation for this trick, the ball or the drama queen, exactly the name states. It really looks like a drama queen, so we shall break that down today. This video is mirrored for your ease of learning. I'll also have a red wristband on my right wrist and my right ankle to indicate the right side of my body if you do get confused of the directions. This trick tutorial is created for you for informational and educational purposes only, and for you to enjoy learning pole dancing from the comfort of your own home. Please participate at your own risk and don't work beyond your capability, and seek help or spotting when necessary. For any health concerns, please seek professional medical advice. Please also make sure you warm up your body before you start this trick tutorial. I have a warm-up playlist depending on your level under the playlist warm up so that you can try it before you do the trick. If you enjoyed this videos, please make sure you give it a thumbs up so that I know to create more of these kinds of videos, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet so that you are notified every single week I upload a tutorial. If you're looking to further your pole journey in combining tricks and dance together, then consider signing up for my online learning platform, Pole Art Bowl, where we put tricks and dance together into a combo and learning an entire routine with tricks and dance together. You can find the link in the description below for further information. Alrighty, without further ado, let's get into the ball or drama queen tutorial. Alrighty, let's get into our conditioning. For our conditioning today, we are going to do a pull-up into a sit. Now, when we are doing a pull-up into a sit, I want you to make sure that your hands are in front of your chest, making sure that your height doesn't drop, pulling your pole down with both of your hands, and then we're gonna come into our sit on the spot. Now, again, when you're coming into sit, I'd rather you not slide down. So unless you can pull yourself all the way up, we're just gonna start this from the floor. So let's just break this one down. So you're gonna come onto your toes, onto the left side of the pole. Now from here, inside hand comes on top and outside hand on the bottom. So if you're standing on the left side of the pole, right hand on top, left hand on the bottom. Now making sure that your hands are right in front of your chest. Make sure you adjust your hands so that it's not in front of your neck, because commonly I see a lot of hands all the way in front of your face or your neck. Hand all the way, look at yourself, hand in front of your chest. Now from here, you're gonna squeeze your armpit, pulling your pole down, dropping your shoulder down, tummy on the pole, and then from there, you're gonna straddle the pole, inside ankle on top. So if your right hand was on top, right ankle on top, left ankle on the bottom, squeezing from your knee and your ankle. And then we're gonna come into a sit. Now make sure that when you're coming into your sit, that your right hip is very close to the pole. So again, right knee on top, right hip very close to the pole, hip tilting. And then coming out. Beautiful. Now, let's just do 3 on each side of that. So again, make sure that you don't drop your body down. Once your hand is there, that does not move. All right, hands in front, tummy on the pole, and lifting your leg up, straight leg if you can, into your sit. Beautiful. Let's try one last one on that same side. Hand in front of your chest, dropping the shoulder down, squeeze your armpit in. Think about really squeezing from your lats, and lift your leg up into your sit. Beautiful, well done. Let's try it on the other side. Coming onto your toes, hand in front of your chest. Make sure that your left hand is on top of your right this time. You're gonna hip tilt over to the right. So left hip nice and close to the pole, into your sit. Beautiful. 2 more of these. Hands in front, dropping the shoulder down. Lift your leg up, into your sit. Good, last one. Hands in front, lift your leg up. Perfect. Well done. Now there is your conditioning done for today. Alrighty, let's go straight into our ball slash drum queen. Now for this trick, you can either do this on spin or static, doesn't really matter, either or works. I'm just gonna demonstrate this on spin because y'all know me, I like spin pole. So this is what a ball or drama queen looks like. Alrighty, so let's break down our ball or drum queen. Now, when you are coming into the trick, we are going to start off in our sit. Now, when you come into your sit, you can either do this on spinning climb into a sit. So if you want to do this aerially, go ahead. Otherwise, you can do this from the floor. I'm just going to demonstrate this from the floor so that there's no extra sort of time climbing up and whatnot. But again, if you want to do a bit of conditioning, it's great. You can try it from a spinning climb. Now, if you have not done a spinning climb, I would highly recommend you to watch that one or even your pole sit tutorial as well before you start this one, because you have to be able to do a pole sit before you get into a drum queen. So we are gonna come into our sit. So inside hand on top, outside hand on the bottom, coming into a sit. Now once you come into your sit, you're going to slide your outside hand so that it is just at waist height. So you're gonna slide your hand all the way down. And then from there, you're going to lean forward, inside arm comes off the pole, and then you're gonna make sure that you circle your body around, and then we're gonna tuck our knees, grabbing our knees with both of our hands, and then ducking your head down into your drama queen. Now, when you're getting your arm in front of the pole, making sure that rather than bringing your shoulder sort of or grazing your arm onto the pole, you wanna make sure that you lean slightly away from the pole. So think about tilting your head away from the pole, and then you wanna circle your body around, getting your shelf onto the pole, and then we duck down. Now, for those that don't know what a shelf is, it's pretty much just your waist. So the squishiest part of your waist here, right in between your rib cage and your hip bone. So let's try this together. Coming onto your toes, inside hand on top, outside hand on the bottom, and then from there, you're gonna give yourself a little spin if you're on spin, but otherwise, if you're on static, just coming into a static sit. So, sit. Now, once you come into your sit, you're gonna slide your outside hand so that it's a little lower, so right close to your leg, making sure that you keep that hip tilted. You're gonna take your inside hand off. You're gonna circle your hand around, getting your shelf onto the pole. Now, once you get your shelf onto the pole, you're gonna bend your knee, grabbing your hand with your inside hand and then your outside hand. And then we are in our drama queen. To come out, grabbing the pole back, extending your legs, and then you can either step down into your squat or you can just come up. Beautiful, well done. Now let's try this on the other side as well. All right, inside and on top, outside and on the bottom, coming into your sit. Making sure that you're keeping your hip tilted, sliding that outside hand down so that it's close to your leg. Inside hand comes off, circle your body around, getting your pole into your shelf, bending your knee, inside hand comes onto your knees, outside hand down, and then you are in your drama queen. To come out, grab the pole back, extend your legs, and coming out. Well done. So there is your ball or drama queen. Now let's get into our tips and common mistakes. Common mistake number one is your hand placement. Now in terms of a hand placement in your drama queen, I see some hands where you sort of slide your hand up, whatever, and then your arm gets stuck and then you end up sort of like strangling yourself, or you can't get your arm through that gap. Now, the reason why is because you didn't slide your outside hand down. So making sure that before you thread your inside arm through the gap and then grabbing your knees is sliding your outside hand all the way down. Now, unless you slide your hand down, what's gonna happen is when you come into your sit, you see how, oh, I can't lean forward, my arm is in the way. This is what's gonna happen. Or if your outside hand is quite high, then you end up gonna sort of like, you can't even get your arm through the gap. So in order to not do that, you wanna make sure that you slide your hand down so that you're able to get your body through. Now, second thing is making sure that you circle your body around. Again, if you don't circle your body around, it is gonna be very hard for you to bring your head down to the floor. So this is what I mean. When you're trying this without circling your body, then you're going to end up sort of like in this armpit, and then your arm is going to get in the way and then you can't duck down. So if you're able to circle your body around, so make sure that you lean to your side and then forward, this becomes much easier to get your body around the pole into your ball. Now, when you're in your ball, rather than sort of a vertically spread out ball, you want to come into more of like a horizontally condensed ball, and that way your ball actually looks much much nicer, and also it just, I think it looks, the more compact it looks, it just looks better. It looks more like a ball. So I'll just show you the difference. This is sort of like your vertical ball, and this is your condensed ball. So in order to do that, again, you wanna just make sure that you grab your knee, pull it towards you as much as you can. So you're leaning all the way forward, and then you're gonna bring your head down as well. So make sure that with this particular one, you wanna hunch your back as much as possible, and then you're trying to get your head down towards your knee. So think about almost gluing your head towards your knee, and that's gonna help you be able to achieve the ball. So counterintuitive, hey? You're trying to hunch. Usually you don't want to hunch. Anyways, next tip is making sure that once you come into your sit, that you are hip tilting. Now, if you don't hip tilt in your sit, again, if you haven't watched the pole sit tutorial, make sure you watch that one because you're really gonna need it for this one. That if you don't hip tilt, then you will lose your grip in your thighs. So making sure that your inside hip is very close to the pole, and then outside hip is tilted. So hip tilt all the way. So bring your inside leg nice and high, and then your outside leg down, almost sort of like a scissor leg. And that's gonna help you achieve your pole sit, or I should say your ball, much better. Now, other thing is making sure that rather than leaning back, that you lean forward before you even come into your ball. Now, if you start leaning back, one, you will lose your thigh grip, and two, you might just lean backwards, or you might fall out of the pole. So in order not to, and to prevent that, you wanna lean to your side and forward when you're coming into your sit. Now, I'll just show you what I mean. Rather than leaning backwards, think about leaning to your side and forward. So you're trying to lean towards your knee as much as possible, and that way it's much easier to come in position, and then you can grab your knees. And there's your ball. Now, other thing is your leg position. Now, with your leg position, if we're gonna start in a crossed ankle sit, then you probably don't have to think much about your leg positioning, but you always want to make sure that you squeeze from your knee and from your ankle. Now, if you only think about squeezing from your ankle, your knees are going to start facing out and you'll lose your thigh grip. And this is what I mean. So if you're sitting like this with your knee face out, you will, as you saw, you would have lost your grip. So making sure that you squeeze from your knee and from your ankle, and then, I mean, obviously pointing your toes. I mean, I don't think I should really say that because I'm hoping that you know that you should pointing your toes. And then from here, you just bend your knee in towards you and then just leaning forward. And you'll get all that grip you need. Might be a little painful, but you know, if it hurts, you're doing it right in pole. So all the grip that you need in your inner thighs. Now, speaking of grip and making sure that you have grip in your inner thighs here and also in your shelf. So if you don't have shelf grip, it might be a little tricky as well. So make sure that you have inner thigh grip and then shelf grip, so your waist grip as well. So if you feel like you have dry skin, then make sure that you have grip aid that helps you give it a bit of moisture in your body. If you have sweaty skin, then making sure that you have something that's a bit more drying. So the products I use, I've got dry skin and I've got sweaty palms. All the products I use are in the link in the description. I'm not sponsored for any of the products, but it's just for your own benefit. But if you sort of have a sweaty skin and also dry hands, then you might want to just switch up your products. So doing a bit of research will get you a long way. So making sure that you have the grip that you need. Now, last thing I want to talk about is making sure that you have shelf grip. So when you're getting your shelf grip, this is really crucial because this is another grip point that you can use. And also, if you don't have the shelf grip, then it might end up hurting your sort of hip bone, or when you're coming into your ball, it might just not feel right. So when you're coming into your sit, you want to make sure that you lean to your side and forward and then get your pole into this shelf, and that way you won't hit your hip bone. If you don't get into the right position, you're going to end up sort of hitting your hip bone, or you might not be able to get your inside shoulder in front of the pole. So in order to prevent that, making sure that you have shelf grip. And also if you have shelf grip, it looks much nicer in terms of the shape as well. So I'll show you the difference. If I don't have shelf grip, then this is what it looks like. Or otherwise, if you try to get your shelf onto the pole first and then you tuck, it's much nicer, and then you can come into a smaller ball as well. Now, next thing I want to talk about is getting your arm in front of the pole. Now, when you're coming into your sit, we've spoken now about sliding our outside hand so that it is close to our hip bone. But from there, you want to make sure that when you're bringing your inside arm around the pole or in front of the pole, is that rather than just taking your hand this way or like tucking your hand through, you want to get your hand above your head and circling your arm through and in front of the pole. Now, once you do that, your transition will, one, look much nicer, but also it is much easier for you to lean all the way out and then coming into a sit. So, into a ball, I mean. So when you're coming into your sit, rather than going from here and try to thread your arm through this way, which doesn't look as nice, once you come into a sit, threading your arm around and then here, and you can see that it looks much nicer and your transition sort of is much more seamless. So making sure that you circle your arm. So once you take your inside hand off, we get our hand up, circle it above our ear, over to your side, and then we're gonna bring our hand all the way forward and then grab your knee. And there you have it. There is your ball to make your transition look nicer as well. Alrighty, before I let you go, a little mindset tip for you today. Making sure that you enjoy your rest days guilt-free. Now, burnout is a very, very common thing that happens amongst pole dancers, and I should honestly just say in real life right now, because we are just so overwhelmed with so many things we need to do, so many responsibilities, and on top of that, you don't want pole dancing to be a source of burnout or something that you feel like you have to do. So I really want you to focus on enjoying pole dancing as it is rather than making it very stressful. So say, for example, rather than telling yourself, oh, I have to do this trick, I have to get it, I want you to rather try enjoying your pole journey, something to be a good challenge, something that's a bit more enjoyable. So if you feel like you're not getting a trick straight away, making sure that you don't beat yourself down for it. Now, other thing is making sure that you have ample rest. if you are not resting and if you are overloading yourself with doing tricks after trick and having to do all these things all at once, then you are going to end up either injuring yourself or not enjoying the learning process. So make sure that you have rest in between. I would even say I would honestly start off with maybe doing 2 or 3 tricks per session. I think that would be a maximum I would do. And I would say personally more than 5 days a week. And honestly, I think 5 days a week is already a lot. If I would be starting off in pole dancing, I would probably just do 1 or 2 days a week maximum. And I think that's more than enough. So again, make sure you enjoy your rest day, and this is not just about work or studying or like just pole dancing, but I would say just in general, making sure that you have your rest days where you just don't do anything physical. Just try enjoying the nature, do things for your mental sanity, and also enjoying your pole journey as much as you can. Thank you so much for joining me in the ball/drama queen tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the very next tutorial. Bye! The kids are right about... Jeez, this Vera, what is a Vera? Jeez. Oh, my hand's slipping.